Adjusting. All right, I could have done this beforehand. We're adjusting. Always
We
adjusting. Always adjusting. How are you today, man?
pretty peaceful today. How are you?
Um, I'm good now. I had a shitty day yesterday. I don't know if it's seasonal depression or what, but like every night I feel like killing myself for some reason. It's like,
Wow, that's
I don't
intense.
know,
Yeah,
pretty intense, right?
yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I don't know what that is. It seems to happen in the winter, even though it's not even fully winter yet. So maybe I have more to look forward to. but, but
So what did you
yeah,
do? When did you do when that happened? How did you cope?
um, well, I live out in the country, so I have a gun on my nightstand. So I looked at it, and I was like,
Okay.
"That's so real, right? It's crazy." Well, I looked at it, I was like, "No, it's not a good idea." And then I played the guitar for like a half hour, and I started to feel better. But it's a weird feeling knowing that like, and everybody has this option in their own home. I'm not encouraging anybody to look for the, but like we all have ways where we could make this happen every day, and a lot of us don't do it. It's just like these impulses that kind of enter the mind, and then we all find ways to kind of cope and deal with it. But it is interesting. I know it probably seemed really dark.
It's okay. Dark happens.
Yeah, just trying to be honest and vulnerable about it. Um,
Yeah. And so you said you played
yeah.
the guitar. You looked at your gun and whatever, or were you able to do other things that you typically do? Like, what else happened?
So like usually I go through this process of like kind of you think through this scenario and you kind of I think just kind of thinking through it naturally you kind of fall out of that mindset anyway unless you're like in a really bad place obviously. I mean people do that but for me personally it's like this kind of like reoccurring pattern that happens and I don't know if it's just like an impulse or if it's like something wrong like for real but whatever that is it seems to be this kind of repetitive process where it's like this whole like this thing occurs and you talk yourself out of it and then you just kind of go on living your
And
life and
and
at
can
some
I
point it
like
just reoccurs again.
how and where is it felt in the body?
um it's almost like thoughts like these like weird thoughts that just arise and then
Well,
it
thoughts for sure, and that's
yeah.
gonna they come up. But do you feel it physically? How is like is the sensations of that?
Um, yeah, I mean, it kind of like I kind of get like a headache afterwards. It's like a lot of
Okay.
pressure, just like this kind of like crazy pressure
Do you
that
feel it
builds
in your
up.
head?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh,
Even today, I have like a little bit of a headache from it, which is kind of interesting. And it's usually followed by like extreme nightmares, which I got
wow.
last night, which sucked.
Yeah.
So, and those usually involve other people dying, not myself, but. Yeah.
And the
But yeah, it's
thoughts,
pretty crazy.
do they blame somebody, someone, yourself for what's happening? Like, what
Yeah,
kind
it's
of thoughts?
usually it's usually me feeling like a failure, like I suck. Um,
Okay. Not feeling,
and a
but
lot of times
thinking.
it
I
revolves around
suck.
like
Yeah.
money. Yeah, like I suck, or I'm a shitty artist, or I don't make enough money, or like these kind of
Okay.
like, you know,
Okay.
pretty common, pretty common repetitive themes that I hear from other people that suffer
Of
from
course.
depression and
A lot
stuff.
of our thoughts I have noticed they are really repetitive, like there are certain types of thoughts and especially for strong emotions, emotion comes up and then the brain just keeps running those patterns of thoughts like, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of that person, because of me. So blaming
Yeah.
yourself, and feeling like, attending, thoughts of like I'm not enough and all of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. And
Okay.
um and I don't know cuz I know those are just like stories that kind of get woven in and out of my mind and like by things in my day. It's like it's it's almost like you create a bias and then you confirm it with like a story, and then that story makes you want to like do something about it. And sometimes that's like exercise, sometimes that's like, you want to call and talk to somebody. Sometimes you go like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. Or sometimes it's like, like you like watch TV or something. It's like this
Yeah.
weird
Oh, for sure.
cycle.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we have some kind of more functional ways to deal with those emotions, and some kind of less functional, if you will, right? So
yeah. And I
what are
used to
your, yeah, more functional ways?
I used
Like you mentioned
Yeah, like my
exercise.
functional ways. Yeah, exercise helps. Like if I'm, especially like when it's getting dark early, it's like the
Yeah.
darkness seems to cause this. The cold temperatures seem to cause it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost like
Oh, I love
whatever.
taking a warm bath. I don't know. Do you ever do that? Does that help? I've noticed that like it does
Yeah,
help me to process some
yeah,
intense emotions. And I put
yeah. It
bubbles into
helps
this. I
for
love
sure.
bubbles.
Yeah, that stuff helps for sure. Anything that kind of
All
like
yeah.
gives like comfort or like
All I
switches
miss is a
that.
rubber duck. I want a nice rubber
Yeah,
duck.
rubber
Actually, I
duck.
was in Amsterdam recently, and they had this really cool store which had like hundreds of very cool, very fancy rubber ducks. And we didn't have the time to stop by, but I mean that's something that I think I would love to get. So I can take a bath and have a proper rubber duck. I mean, I didn't have it as a kid because that was not a thing, back in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to you. So
Well, that's
exercising.
super
What else?
interesting. Like, do you think people? Because I know, I mean, it's not like the Soviet Union anymore, but do you think like over in Russia and these places, do you think that they think about this as like mental health stuff, or do you think it's more like
Big
life
time,
is?
right? Because there's
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff, all the propaganda from the TVs drives people crazy, and I think that there is a lots more censorship, and also now Ukraine is able to strike back a little bit. Thank God they're not striking civilian targets. But they do strike like oil processing facilities and other stuff, and it affects people, no question about it. And then also now they're blocking the internet, so yeah, lots of people are suffering with more and more acute mental health issues there for sure.
that's super interesting. Because I used to like watch all these documentaries on the Vietnam War for some reason when I was a teenager. It was just
Right?
it was interesting to me, and there was this like information warfare that would go on. Um, they would even like drop like these pamphlets and leaflets to like the soldiers that are fighting on both sides and like trying to
Yeah,
convince
yeah.
them to like give up and like it was totally crazy, the games that we play with each other's brains, let alone our own brains. I don't know, it
Yeah,
always
we
trips
kind of
me
like,
out.
one way to describe this is that we're trying to, we're desperately trying to convince others that this story, I mean, the way that we see reality is the right way, right? And impose our view of reality onto them to kind of find confirmation. And I think it's kind of, it's because we don't really believe that ourselves, but we really hope to find that confirmation that yes, this is true, and this is how it is, and to kind of self-validate, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
anyways,
crazy.
so back to what you were feeling like, and we were talking about some of their mechanisms that help you process that, or escape that, or whatever it is. Like so in the past you have used things like weed and other stuff, and I understand that now you're staying
Yeah,
away from that.
yeah, and sometimes I want to go back because it's like an easy way to escape and like switch your mindset, but it's much more interesting to just sit with that and deal with it. One thing that helps is I know that talking to people doesn't, they can't do anything, but like something about talking about it makes it go away
No,
for
for
some
sure,
reason.
for sure. And you know what? And sometimes just physical contact, right? Like getting a hug from a friend or whatever, or even
Yeah,
having
or just
like you have
falling
your
asleep.
okay, yeah, sure. And you have your dog. Is he a good friend in a difficult situation like this?
Yeah, he's good, but he's very he bites the shit out of me.
Oh wow.
So, but it's a good distraction.
Yeah, yeah,
He's still a puppy, so he's like completely insane. I try to like I'll
yeah.
take him, put him on the bed, and he just starts like running around. It actually is now that I think about it, it's a good distraction in a way because it makes you happy. You start focusing on how crazy this little thing is, and yeah, it shifts everything pretty dramatically. But
Yeah.
see, it's really something about seasonal. It's the darkness and the cold and all that stuff. It like really just kicks whatever it is into
Maybe,
overdrive.
right? Like how do you really know
Yeah,
what's causing this, right? And I mean,
yeah,
if you think that's the cause, right, you can try different things. You can try, get one of those lamps like infrared, or also they have ultraviolet, like sunlight lamps. So yeah, why
yeah,
why not give it a try? If you think that's for you, it's related to less sunlight, quite possible, right?
yeah. And I think you're right. And I think like also since I for a long time I was using substances to escape that feeling, I'm now at
For
the
sure.
point of like actually like facing it and finding real solutions. Whereas before I used to just like run from it and hide from it. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so a lot of these things sound good. It's just like some of them have never even occurred. And then that moment happens. And in that moment,
yeah.
it's hard to find solutions in that moment unless they're already there. And I think that's actually
Yeah,
something
and
people with
the
these issues need to know.
solutions, it's like maybe it's too saying that the solution too much. It kind of trying randomly different things, right? And then see, and maybe your state changes, and you don't even know that if your solution was of any help or just like a natural process of stuff going through you. Like, but
Yeah,
yeah, why not try many different things? Like, for example, listen to music. It's funny, like
yeah.
when I feel a wave of sadness, sometimes I have a couple of playlists actually with some very sad music, or music that kind of resonates with sadness, if you will. Like I don't know if you know this guy
Yeah.
Ludovico Einaudi. So I have a playlist
Mm.
based on his music. It's lots of like classical kind of music, and I put it on, and in a way it amplifies the sadness, but somehow amplifying the sadness quite often seems like to help it move through me faster. At least that's my story about it. So,
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. There's this guy named Elliott Smith. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He basically
sounds
drank
familiar.
himself to death. He's like
Ooh,
very like, but his music's like very heavy. And that Nirvana for some reason, like Kurt Cobain, he was like very
right.
depressed. It's funny these like really depressed artists help that kind of. You're right. It helps it move through. I do
Yeah.
think classical music. There's something that it does to the mind that's like a little different than modern music, for sure.
Hmm.
Like you don't want to listen to like Katy Perry or something. It's just like modern pop music doesn't do it. I don't know what it is. It has to be heavy. Um,
Hmm.
but I like Chopin for some reason. I love piano, and there's just
Oh
something
yeah.
about that specific like whatever frequency was happening in that dude's brain. Um,
Yeah,
his
music
music
is
is very
powerful, and like on a tangent, but you probably have come across recently that this guy Brian Johnson, who is famously researching his health and whatnot, he was recently doing a mushroom trip, and he was posting a lot about this, and he at some point posted and asked people for their music playlists for that, and I actually on that thread on Twitter I posted my playlist for that. It's called Journey. So there was a lot of piano music in that for sure.
Yeah, piano's good for that. Piano's good for that. And then, like I said earlier, anybody that plays an instrument, um, that definitely moves it through. Like I I play like guitar a lot, but I play classical music on the guitar. But mainly scales, like just do 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 do. Something about that helps you just like it clicks you out of it. It's interesting. But I do think anybody that deals with this, it's good to have some solutions like already available to yourself for when this happens, because like once it happens, and this could just be like my story of it, but like once it happens, it's hard to figure out what to do in those moments. It's like
Yeah, it can
everything's
be
moving
very,
around.
like it freezes you, right? Kind of you feel like you're not able
Yeah,
to do much and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I agree with the idea is that if in advance you kind of know that, oh, here's a bunch of things I can try. And I don't know if I would call them solutions because none of them are guaranteed to work. And it's actually can be very fucking frustrating because, like, I have a solution. I will do this type of meditation or listen to this. And you do this and it doesn't help. Then you get even more frustrated, right? But why not have a
yeah,
bunch of them and try them? Like, all kinds of breathing meditation, whatever. Because subconsciously, we typically have a bunch of solutions already, right? And many of them are subconscious. Like, we kind of end up scrolling social media or drinking, right? Or smoking weed or whatever it is, right? And for me, sometimes I play this computer game and just like, as a distraction when I'm going through some intense emotions. So yeah, having a wide range of those and kind of like when you're not in that intense state, right? It's easier to evaluate also which one of them are more functional than the others. Because I mean, you can drink and you can do other stuff, but those things they have other consequences, right? And
yeah.
yeah,
Most of them make it worse the next day, like because your brain,
yeah,
the
no, that's
chemicals
exactly
in
that,
it
right? Because
go
we're
out
kind
of
of
whack,
borrowing from tomorrow, right? We're borrowing some
Yeah,
state of feeling better right now, but then the consequences is it's getting even worse. So yeah, that's dangerous territory, and I've seen people really spiral into stuff with
yeah,
that. So hopefully we can kind of brainstorm a bunch of different solutions in advance, and then when that happens, then we try them, right? And we talk to people. Maybe our friends can come up with some other ideas for us, support us in different
yeah. And
ways.
that's the other thing is like sometimes you're if you get in these states a lot, you're afraid to call people and tell them about it because you're like, oh, I'm going to make
Right.
them depressed. But a lot of times people don't see it that way. I mean, some people get bummed out by that stuff, but like
Yeah.
for the most part, friends and family are willing to like sit and as long as you don't do it every day, they're willing to like sit and like talk to you and tolerate it, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but when you call somebody, you're like, hey, I think I'm gonna kill myself. That's very heavy for some people too. So I think it is also
Can feel
important to
very scary
realize,
because they can get scared and then they panic and then whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they start trying to save you, and they can't. So it's just like,
Exactly. Yeah. But it's very human. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I think it's very human to have those kind of thoughts sometimes because life can be so bloody difficult and intense. Yeah.
yeah. But well, our timer went off, so we'll go ahead and end it there. But this has been a good check-in.
Yeah.
I know people are starting
And
to
thank
actually
you.
like
Thank you for
this
sharing this. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I
You're not
figured
alone.
if
It's very
I can
common.
help,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it helps
Right
people
on,
know
man.
that they're not like alone. So, but all right, this has been the mental health check-in basically at this point. So we'll see you soon, everybody. And
See you
I'll
soon,
find
guys.
this. Here we go. Bye.